Welcome back. We're talking your bottom line here this morning. Michael Jankins with Jankins Law Firm is joining us, and we are talking bankruptcy this morning. And you're going to actually kind of just talk about just the process of what all is involved and kind of what that looks like for somebody that comes into your office that's facing this.
That's right. So people can go and see all kinds of different attorneys out there to handle their bankruptcy. And so each attorney handles things differently. And so if you come to my office, I just want to give everybody a general understanding of how you'll be treated and what you'll be going through in the process if we handle your case.
Because it's a difficult thing to have to address and deal with.
Sure.
And quite a process.
And each attorney has their own ways of doing things and their own thoughts about what they should do and how much the attorney spends with the client. So I thought we'd just kind of give a preview to people of how we do things at our office. So the first step in the process of filing bankruptcy is to actually have an initial consultation. It's free. We have what we advertise as a free 1-hour consultation, but we don't put the hourglass upside down and start watching the sand go through. I mean, if
you're done, out of time.
if it runs an hour and 15 minutes, it's still free. If it, sometimes it's only 45 minutes. So it's your free consultation, and this is type of a fact-finding mission. This is where we meet with the person and we review their finances with them, just to see what everything going on in their life. We'll evaluate what income they have coming in every month, because that's important in evaluating whether the person needs to file bankruptcy. We'll look at their monthly living expenses, because we have to compare that to the income that is coming in to make sure either they're just in big trouble or maybe they're not in such big trouble and maybe they don't even need this process.
Do you kind of give them a checklist of things to know to bring in for this initial consultation so that they,
When they set the consultation, we do tell them to bring very few things, because we don't want to overwhelm them with too much things. So we just ask them to make it simple, write down the debts so we know what it's looking like, and bring your last couple paycheck stubs from work so we can actually figure out what that income is that's coming in every month. So we go through all that. At the first appointment, I'll explain what this bankruptcy process involves from beginning to end. And so it's kind of an overview. We go into all the nuances on the segment a couple times a month, so it's not as in detail, but it's kind of from start to finish. This is what you'll be going through. This is what's going to occur during the process. Try to put a person at ease so they understand it is not a real intimidating process, and many of the things are very low key, and there's just a lot of paperwork and reporting, so they can kind of be less nervous than they already are. And then besides the process of the bankruptcy, then we have a packet of worksheets that we have to give to people to fill out. So when we prepare a bankruptcy, it's kind of an open book on a person's financial life. So we have to know a whole bunch of information, and so they take the worksheets home and fill them out with all the information I need to put the case together. This is what makes a good case or not a good case, is the accuracy of all of the information. And so we explain the worksheets. We've taken great pains over the years to make sure that all of these questions are as understandable to everybody as we possibly can, because we don't want people getting intimidated by the worksheets and not understanding things. So we've really revised the questions based upon people's responses over the years, not addressing the proper stuff, not answering correctly, or thinking it means something when it means something else. So we constantly try to make them better. We have a lot of clients that weren't born in the United States, so English isn't necessarily their first language, and we still want to make sure they can understand the questions. And surprisingly enough, sometimes they seem to understand them better than people that were born here.
Do you ever have clients come in that, and you say, well, no, we don't have to do this, and give them some kind of, during that consultation process where maybe they're not quite at that point yet? And
yeah, I mean, we do have clients that sometimes bankruptcy is just not an option that they need to pursue for various reasons, and if we don't think they need to do the bankruptcy, or it's not in their best interest, then we certainly point that out to them so they can weigh that in their decision-making process, because it's not necessarily for everybody just because they come in.
Right.
And then the last thing during the initial appointment is I usually am very exhaustive in what I'm telling people during the first hour, But if people have any other questions that I haven't already touched upon in my lengthy discussions, then they're free to ask me any other questions that I might not have answered. It's often people come in with a list of their questions, and so sometimes they start asking during the appointment, and I'll begin to answer them and then say, well, I'm going to be answering all those during the appointment. So when we're done, if you still have more questions, we'll be happy to answer them, because otherwise the appointment can go much longer than an hour when it doesn't need to. So we try to kind of keep that to the end, any of the questions.
What kind of process is it then from, because I would imagine when they come in there, there's like a sense of urgency to getting things done, and now you've sent them home, they have to fill out all of this paperwork, and is there kind of a time frame that's ideal?
Well, for some people, it just takes a long time to get it back. They have to save up the money. They procrastinate. They're not sure, is this what I want to do or not? So sometimes it takes people a long time to come back. Other people, it's very pressing. They're being sued. Their wages are being garnished. And for them, they'd like it done yesterday. So it just depends on who the person is. But the next step is for us to do the case. The bankruptcy must be prepared. So the person must get all the worksheets back to us so we can begin working on everything. And so there's a lag time in getting them done because we have a volume of cases, and so it takes time to get to them. Now, what I do is if somebody comes in to see me whose wages are already being garnished, we will turn their case around immediately if they get it back to us quickly, because they're losing money every paycheck. So we try to get those cases done right away. If some people haven't been back for a long time and now their wages are being garnished and that's why they finally came back, it became much more urgent to them.
A little more urgent, yeah.
We still try to do those cases and turn them around in a couple days because they're losing quite a bit of money out of their paycheck. And so that's the next step is preparing the case. So then we get the case all prepared and we've done all that work. Then the client has to come in so they can read it over. The paperwork they'll be looking at is about 50 to 60 pages long, and it's all the information they gave us, so this isn't some mystery information they'll be looking over. It's like, this is your life in a nutshell. So we give them time in the conference room to read it over because we want to make sure that everything is right. And it takes about a half hour to 40 minutes depending upon how quickly they read. And then I come in and we go over everything. If there were any errors in it, we'll fix them. Sometimes people will read something and go, you know what, I think I forgot to tell them about that. So if we need to add information to it, now's the time to get it right. So we'll make some last minute changes so everything's right. And then the person signs their name in a bunch of different spots on it. I got to sign in a few places, and then the case is electronically filed with the court. It's the age of technology, so we don't march them down to the courthouse anymore with all this paper. We just transmit it over the internet in a PDF file, and it's available 24/7. So there's a lot of conveniences to it. So the next step is the case is actually filed, and the person attends their legal proceeding, which is called the meeting of creditors, which we've discussed before, and that occurs 3 to 4 weeks after we file the case. The person attends that. It's a very low-key proceeding. Once their name is called, my clients and I go up to a table in the room. The trustee of the bankruptcy will ask his questions, which generally take about 60 seconds. So you're in and out pretty quickly. And then approximately 2 months after that, the person gets what's called their bankruptcy discharge, and that is essentially the conclusion of the case. And all of their debts that they wanted are gone, and the debts that they wanted to keep, such as their home payments, their car payments, if they were wanting to keep those, they keep making those payments. Some of the debts don't go away, like student loans and recent tax debts over the last 3 years. But they get their clean start after this, and generally that is the process.
So that's about, what, a 6-month window of time then?
Well, from the time the person actually comes in till the time the case is completely over, depends upon how long it took them to get their stuff and us to prepare it. But from the time that we file the case until the time that the case is over is about 90 days. Okay. And during that time, other than going to this meeting of creditors, for the vast majority of people, there's nothing more that they've really got to do other than just go on with their life. And if the trustee of the bankruptcy is going to ask them for some additional information to support something, or if they're looking into a few things, they may just have to provide follow-up information from time to time. But that isn't even occur too often. And so that's kind of the process. And
so if they want to schedule a consultation with you,
you can just
try
give
to
me
get
a
them in
call.
probably fairly soon, I would imagine.
Sure, you can just call us at 255-1855. You can find us on the internet at www.iowa-bankruptcylaw.com, or you can follow us on Facebook.
Free consultation, call him, or you can go online and schedule a time to meet with him. Michael, thank you as always, great information.